The cold wind howled through the dense woods, sending icy shivers down Mara's spine as she clutched her flashlight tightly. She had always been drawn to exploring the forest at night, claiming it was her way of confronting her fears. Tonight, however, the shadows seemed darker, the silence oppressive. She had heard the legends, stories of the Wendigo, a monstrous creature said to haunt these woods, cursed to endless hunger, its gaunt frame and glowing eyes lurking just beyond perception. She dismissed them as superstitions, but the whisper of the wind sounded eerily like a rasping breath. Mara's friends had dared her to seek out the old abandoned cabin deep within the forest. "If you're that brave," they'd said, "then find the Wendigo." She chuckled nervously, ignoring their teasing, and pressed forward. Her footsteps crunched softly on the frozen ground as she navigated the tangled undergrowth, her flashlight beam flickering with each gust. As she drew nearer to the cabin, a sudden rustling made her halt. Her heart pounded fiercely in her chest. She shone her light into the darkness, nothing but twisted trees and lingering shadows. Shaking her head, she pressed on, telling herself it was just a squirrel or some small animal. The cabin emerged from the darkness like a ghostly relic, a dilapidated structure with broken windows and a sagging porch. Mara hesitated for a moment, then stepped inside, the wooden floorboards groaning beneath her weight. The air inside was thick, musty, and cold. Shadows stretched across the walls like dark fingers, and her eyes kept flickering to the corners where unseen eyes might be hiding. Suddenly, a chilling howl pierced the silence, causing her to jump. It was distant but unmistakably animalistic, echoing from deeper within the woods. Mara's breath quickened. Maybe this was just a wild animal, she told herself, trying to dispel the sinking feeling in her stomach. But as she explored the cabin, her eyes caught a strange marking on the wall, a strange pattern etched into the wood, crudely carved with what looked like claws. Her fingers trembled as she reached out, tracing the marks. The air grew colder still, and she felt an inexplicable sense of dread pressing against her chest. A faint sound echoed outside, the frantic shuffle of something large moving through the trees, branches snapping under powerful paws. Mara's heart hammered within her chest as she moved toward the door, desperation mounting to get out and back to safety. But as she reached for the handle, a low, guttural growl froze her in place. Suddenly, a pair of glowing eyes appeared at the window, illuminating the cabin's interior in bursts of sickly green. Mara stared, paralyzed as the creature's face slowly materialized, a gaunt, emaciated figure with elongated limbs, taut skin stretched over sharp bones, and jagged teeth visible in a twisted grin. Its eyes burned with hunger, and the air seemed to grow thicker with its presence. In that moment, she remembered the stories, the way the Wendigo was said to embody greed and insatiable hunger, cursed to roam forever, searching for new victims. Its presence was a warning, an ominous sign that it could easily hunt her down. Her instincts screamed to run. She bolted for the door, but before she could reach it, the creature surged forward. Its claws tore through the wooden planks, scraping her hand as she stumbled back. The beast's breath was hot and fetid, and its eyes burned into her soul. Desperate, Mara grabbed a nearby crowbar and swung wildly. The creature recoiled, snarling like a beast cornered. It lunged again, faster and more ferocious. Mara's mind spun. She remembered the stories warning that Wendigos could mimic sounds, lure victims into the wilderness until they were swallowed by the darkness forever. With her last ounce of courage, she dashed out of the cabin into the clearing, sprinting blindly through the trees. Panic clouded her mind as she heard the creature behind her, its deafening growls merging with the howling wind. Branches clawed at her face, roots threatened to trip her as she ran deeper into the forest, trying to put distance between herself and the nightmare. The moonlight pierced the canopy, revealing a faint glimmer of a road ahead. Mara sprinted toward it, desperation fueling her legs. Her lungs burned, and her vision blurred from exhaustion, but she refused to stop. The sounds of pursuit grew fainter, the beast reluctant to leave its potential prey. She burst onto the deserted road, lungs heaving. The night was silent again, save for her ragged breaths. She looked back into the woods, but saw only shadows and the quiet darkness that seemed to swallow the trees. Her heart still pounded in her ears as she flagged down a passing car. The driver stared in disbelief as Mara, trembling and bloodied, spilled her story of the creature, the Wendigo, that had stalked her. But the driver just shook his head, shaking off the chilling tale as superstition. Mara knew better. She had seen the burning glow of its eyes, felt its hunger. In the days that followed, Mara tried to tell her friends what had happened, but the memories haunted her. She often woke up in the night, hearing faint scraping sounds and the distant echo of an unearthly growl. She couldn't shake the feeling that the Wendigo hadn't truly gone, their cursed hunger still watching, waiting for its next chance to hunt again. And somewhere, deep within those woods, the creature still lurked, forever hungry in its cursed torment, its glowing eyes watching the world through the shadows.